Hey, Trader Steven here with TradesPlan.com. It's Friday morning, September the 17th. Let's look at the market real quick, and then we'll look at some of the top performing ETFs of the week. Start with the Nasdaq. When it was up here, it really tried to break down, closed briefly below the 50-day moving average about 3 weeks ago, then bounced. Was talking about it needing to pull back, and it did. And right now, so far, it's finding support around the 50-day moving average. Pre-market is a little flat. There's a lot of selling right here. You can kind of see the distribution going on right there. So don't know if this is going to bounce or not, but until it breaks down, we just have to continue to assume we're in an uptrend, right? The uptrend continues. I mean, it's hard to make the bearish case. The S&P 500 continues to find support at the 50-day moving average, and we're right at the 50-day moving average. So if it's going to break down, it's likely going to break down here, but so far it hasn't shown any signs of that. And let me show you why I think it's still possible that growth stocks continue to run, because I'm looking at the IBD 50 ETF. Definitely sold off a lot of the hard growth stocks last week, or even this week. I think that was on Monday right there, that big red day where it was down almost 3%. Kind of came right back, found support at 20-day moving average, and came right back. And actually had a really, really strong day, some of the growth stocks yesterday on Thursday, even though the market wasn't overly exciting. So there's still kind of frustrating, the whipsaw, but it definitely happens. So far, like I said, I'm just going to continue to treat this as an uptrend until something proves me wrong, right? Just going to continue to take the bullish stance. So if we let's look at what was strong yesterday, then we'll look at what was weak yesterday. So what was strong yesterday is obviously you had the IBD 50 index, which is a good sign, but something else that's looking really interesting is this bets ETF. This has the DraftKings, kind of like the online betting world. Broke out a few weeks ago, came back, tested the trend line, right at the 30 level, which is also the breakout level, and then bounced off it. So to me, this is incredibly bullish. This looks like it's in buy range if growth stocks continue to go up. Just looking at the chart, it seems reasonable that it would break out to the 52-week high. So bets is looking good at the moment, kind of a more aggressive growth play. Same thing with cloud computing. You can see right here is it, pulled back, found support of the 50-day moving average, and had a really, outperforming day yesterday. So this cloud computing, looking for something more aggressive, maybe try to find some cloud computing stocks, but this ETF, that looks pretty good, and buying on a pullback right here. So what else was strong yesterday that is looking pretty good? That's in a downtrend. iPay. Kind of online mobile, this still really needs to break out. It's gone absolutely nowhere since February, right? All the online payments, I probably could redraw that, but having problems drawing. Either way, you can kind of see the sideways pattern, right? A little volume came in, but that's happened several more times, and it continues to go sideways. So for me, I probably need to see a breakout, but that's a really nice sideways consolidation. Cannabis stocks are still in a downtrend, so I'm not getting sucked into that. It's been a downtrend for so long. I mean, I need to see something like a pullback and a rebreak on that. Now let's look at what's the strongest for the 1 week. The uranium clearly is just kicking the crap out of everything. Uranium and nat gas and energy has actually had a really, really strong week. But you can see this North Shore uranium, you can't get involved in this. This went from 50 to almost 100 really quickly. It's got to pull back. So I can't recommend. I need to see some kind of pattern. I'm not going to chase it. This one's getting a little extended, but the first truss. But look, you kind of have the inverse head and shoulders right there. And then you have a neckline breakout. So this, really looks good. Maybe it could pull back just a little bit more if you wanted to try to catch it right at the top of this neckline. But a lot of the energy ETFs are looking like this. Like you have that inverse head and shoulders. It's been consolidating. It found support at the 200-day moving average. I mean, from technically speaking, this trade looks right. IEO, this is another energy ETF. The chart looks exactly the same. So you're starting to get a lot of this broad participation in the energy sector. I mean, this to me looks good right here with just a stop under 50 or at 50, right under 50, right under last week's low, right? Because if it kind of pulls back, just, you know, forget about it, because you don't want to risk, right, 12%. See if it's going to find support at the 200-day moving average, maybe something a little tighter. But this right here looks pretty good. IEZ is a similar chart, although it is lagging a little bit. But again, you can see that neckline right there. So this is very close to breaking out. It's trying to break out. If that breaks out above Wednesday's high, I would say that's a buy with a stop under the most recent low, because it's, you know, when something consolidates and is pulling back and all of a sudden starts to show strength, and then there's broad participation across the board, the energy sector looks like it's about ready to move. So that looks pretty strong. So you can see the whole list is dominated. The whole top 10 is dominated by uranium, nat gas, energy. Bitcoin is in consolidation mode. So it did break a trend line right here, but you could also make the bullish case that now it's in kind of bull flag mode. So we'll see, right? This is all not a very good pattern right here, but if it, you know, obviously breaks above 41, game on. If it continues to break below this week's low, I would be incredibly cautious, because this has definitely the potential, if it breaks this, to come, you know, retest these lows right here. So probably not something you want to buy and hold, at least on this one. I do buy and hold some cryptos, but if I'm swing trading this, I'm not going to let it come all the way down here. If it does come all the way down here, that might be looked as a nice little buying opportunity. If you look at more in the top 10, you can see India is starting to pop up on some of my scanners. It's starting to show some strength. So a lot of emerging markets and energy, right? Maybe that, I haven't looked at the dollar, but maybe that means the dollar has been weak this week. No, the UUP looks okay. So sometimes they just decouple. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.